Hello and welcome to Experiencing Love. I'm your host, Philip Jacks, and I'm so glad that you're here. Once again, I am back at it again for another late night episode. It was one of those days today where I really wasn't feeling it in the morning, and I had to get the day kind of ramped up before I wanted to hop in front of the camera, get going. I was feeling a bit uneasy before, and I didn't realize exactly why I was feeling that way. And then therefore I didn't know what to do about it. I did have the idea though that maybe, just maybe, if I went and exercised a little bit, I would feel better. And if you'd be so surprised, it worked. It really did. I didn't do much exercise yesterday, and not exercising for most of today meant by the end of the night, or I would say by evening time, I was feeling ready to go. I needed to move around. I needed to do something. And I guess towards the later part of today, I had an idea that I need to move around more because I've been doing a lot of it. I've been moving around a lot more and a lot more often. And so it's only natural that my body would crave those types of feel-good moments. I've noticed I've been thinking clearer. I notice I've had more energy. I notice I've been getting stronger. I've been eating better. I've been interacting with people around me in a more positive light. And I've also been thinking about the past and how when I wasn't doing all these things, how the quality of my life was much lower, we could say. So anyways, I'm really grateful for having gone and just done some light exercise. I went for like a 3-mile run, like a 5K, I guess. And I wouldn't even call it a run either. It was more like a jog. But yeah, it was after not running for a little while and going for a 5K without stops. I was pretty proud of that. I felt pretty good. It was like a 10-minute 30 pace. So like a real jog. But afterwards I ended up coming home. I was completely sweaty, completely tired, just for a brief moment. And so instead of hopping in front of the camera like I originally wanted to, I wanted to get in front of you all sweaty and ready. I said, no, I'm going to go shower instead. And then I'm going to rest this off a little bit and then hop in front of the camera. So that's how today went. That's how I'm feeling. And so I guess I am bringing a little bit of this lower energy, Philip. Not this morning peak state on top of the world, Philip, but I'm also getting there. One thing I love about Sundays is I use Sundays as my day to plan for the rest of the week or for the upcoming week. I basically laid out everything I wanted to do this week, added things to my various calendars, making sure that I'm hitting all the critical areas of my life so that I feel good about this next week, so that I'm excited for it. So I have some plans here and there, many of which being exercise, some of which being plans with people, and I know it's going to change. It's a very loosey-goosey plan, as I like to say, but just having an idea of potentially things that I can do every day does make me excited. I want to go for another hike. I want to go for another yoga session. I want to go climbing again. I want to go cycling maybe twice this week, running maybe twice this week. And I spread them all out throughout the week so that I can make sure to stay moving every day. I want to stay moving at least some part of my body consistently so that I don't fall back into the mindset or the habit of pretty much rotting away in my bed. Maybe that's good for some people. I don't know. I'm not a researcher or scientist. I haven't read any of the papers, if there are any on this. But I know for me, rotting does more harm than good. Laying around in bed, yeah, maybe for a couple hours at a time, not the worst thing. But maybe you can relate to this. A couple hours very easily can become the whole day. If you're not aware, if you're not keeping track of it, it's really easy to let time slip by. That's true in any aspect, really. And one way that happens the most, at least in my history, has been watching content. Whether it's on social media, whether it's on YouTube specifically, maybe it's a TV show. I have the ability to start the day watching a show, and by the end of the day, I may finish a season or two, depending on how long the seasons and episodes are. What's crazy is being able to start a one-season show at the beginning of the day, and by the time night rolls around, you're already on the season finale. I've done that more times than I can count, and let me tell you, I don't say it because I'm proud of it. I say it because it's real, because it's something that I have to work to avoid. I have to do things specifically so that I don't repeat those same mistakes. Because I could have those days, but I much rather have the days where I go out and I exercise and I feel really good about my body and my mind and my spirit. And because of that, I get to give that energy to you. I get to send it through the interwebs, through the camera, through this audio, so that you can have just a little bit more energy today. I know it's not always easy. I know it's not always fun, but let's be real. Doing the right thing feels that way sometimes. We can make it fun, we can make it easy, but of course things are going to happen. Life happens. So I don't beat myself up for the rough days. I just make sure to limit them as much as possible. And what helps me do that? Recording these videos helps me do that. Exercising, eating well, journaling, meeting up with people I haven't seen in a while, or just people that I love and care about. I want to take a moment to be a little vulnerable, share something kind of real that's been going on for me recently. Because as much as I can put on a strong face, a good face, and I can show up with the intention of love and providing good energy, there are still things that I struggle with, still things that can hit me pretty hard. And honestly, many of those things are really hard to talk about when I'm going through them. It's much more easier to mention it or bring it up, even right after I feel like I'm on the other side. And maybe this is one of those moments, but either way, it's something that I want to share. So I've been struggling a little bit recently. And what makes this tough for me to say is that I know what makes it difficult for me to say some of these things is that I know there are people in my life, whether they're family or close friends, that listen to this show every once in a while. I know they don't listen to every single episode, and I don't expect them to, because I post a lot and constantly, and it's not always my best work. But I know they do show up every once in a while, and there's this genuine thought of, was this a conversation I'm going to have to repeat in the future? But you know what? This isn't for them. This is for me. And this is for anybody that may be struggling with this as well. Or maybe they've struggled with it in the past. But anyways, enough beating around the bush. I've recently fallen back into a very old habit of not just masturbation, but of watching pornography. I think it's been nearly a week since I last did it. And this is just something that I'm taking day by day. Because before this last week, I think I was partaking for at least a month or two. And again, this isn't something that I'm proud of. It's actually something I feel great shame and guilt about. But the more I give it shame and guilt, the more power I give to it. And I don't want it to have this power over me. So I talk about it. because I also know how hard it is for men, especially, to talk about things that are going on. It's really easy to point fingers and blame. So I'm not here to do any of that. But I do know what the experience is like to have something going on and feeling ashamed to have done something, but feeling as though I'd be even more ashamed if I had to admit it to someone. Admit my mistakes and sit in the guilt. I know what it's like to feel like it's easier to just be quiet and wait for it to pass. Before these 2 months that I've just had, I was clean for just about a year and a half, 2 years. And before that, because it was just about like 1 or 2 days that I did it before that. And before those 2 days, it was like another year and a half. So semi-clean for 3, 4 years. And all of a sudden, stress went high, and that was one of the ways that as a kid I used to deal with stress. It was normalized between the people that I was around. And it was something that in the moment helped me feel good, but ultimately made me feel even more guilty and ashamed and depressed. And even still, this one's pretty hard for me to talk about. But like I said, I guess something I'm celebrating is that it's been a few days since I last did it. I don't exactly remember when. If I looked at the calendar, I could probably figure it out. But it's been a little while. And when I say it's a day by day thing, it's because I have the largest urge to do it, honestly, sometime either midday and especially at night, right before bed. For a while, it was like part of my night routine. So this retraining of myself is sort of the process that I'm going through now. And every single night, I lay my head down and pretty much remind myself that I can sleep without it, that I can do my life without that habit of mine. And actually, the thing that helped me most in stopping it recently was something a friend of mine said in passing. I doubt this friend even watches my videos, but if they do, they'll know it by this next part. While we were driving, we passed a strip club, and they basically had this either sad or disappointed or hurt look on their face. And they shared how stuff like that is kind of just sad, and I guess they were wondering what it would take someone to resort to going down that path of being there. And then they shared how they truly believe that pornography is cheating. And then they carried on. But just that line kind of got burned into my head, or I guess I burned it into my own head. Because I immediately said, yeah, you're right. I may not be in a relationship right now, but is that something I want to do in a relationship? Because one thing I do know about, we'll call it behavior, about people, is that if you want to know who you're going to be in any type of relationship, just look at yourself right now. That's who you're truly going to be after you meet someone. You may put on an act for a certain amount of time, and either one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to stay in that act forever and it's never going to feel like a real friendship, or you're going to be honest, you're going to be vulnerable, you're going to be you, this version that you're already right now, and they will have to learn to accept that. And that version of you is not going to be perfect, right? But it is going to be you. People wonder who they're going to be. And more times than not, they're going to end up being who they really are eventually. And that's when people ask, oh my gosh, this person really changed. This person's so different. But they didn't change. They were just hiding who they really were. So I've known for myself that if there's someone I want to be in a relationship, some version of me that I wanted to be within any relationship, it would have to be something that I became while out of the relationship. And that's not to say you can't change within a relationship, but it's to say that I want to set up a foundation for myself of some like basic things, some core things, so that when life happens and stressors come out, I have a solid foundation to fall back on. Not one of things that I'm feeling shameful or guilty of that I've worked through per se at the start of a relationship. I don't know, maybe that's just a fractured way of thinking. But I know for me that I don't want to wait until I'm in a relationship in order to change who I am. If there's some part of me that I don't like now, I want to change it now. Just like while I'm in a relationship, or I'm meeting friends, or I'm doing whatever, if there's something that I'm doing that I don't like, I'll change it then and there. It's not something that I have to wait until later for. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about before, I asked myself, in a relationship, am I going to want to be watching pornography? For me, the answer is no. No shame if you feel like you can and want to and encourage each other to do that. For me, I just thought about it in this way. Would I be all right with sitting in a room watching people do that? Like if there was no camera, if there was no screen, no phone, no nothing, would I be okay with just sitting and watching two random strangers making love? And it's one thing to do that, but it's another to sit in a room and watch strangers doing that, knowing that you have a girlfriend or wife at home waiting for you. It's this story that I told myself that made me really see and understand that I don't want that to be a part of my life. It wasn't a part of my life for the last 2, 3, 4 years for a reason. And I was feeling better during that time. So I had to start telling myself every single night, pornography is cheating. And I'm a loyal man, because most importantly, I'm loyal to myself. I know that I feel much better when I don't do it. I know I feel much better when I exercise more. I know I feel much better when I eat right. And so what's really shameful is not the act itself, but it's the act of doing things against my own body and mind, knowing that it's not giving me the best result that I'm looking for. And so I've said it. Every single day, I work through it. Every single day, I try a little harder. And every single day, I'm doing a little bit better. I share this because if this is something that you're going through, or you know someone else going through it, I want you to know that I feel for you. I feel for you so deeply. Truly, any addiction is not easy. I know that I have addictive tendencies. Porn proved that to me. Video games have proved that to me. Food has proven that to me. And it's for these reasons that I truly, for my own health and safety, don't go anywhere near drinks, alcohol, drugs. I can't even say that's fully true. Definitely no to drugs, but alcohol every once in a while. But I don't make it a habit, not at all. It truly is once in a blue moon type of situation. Because I know if I gave myself full license to use it, telling myself the story that I can stop if I want to, I would truly go off a deep end. I have that past. I go off the deep end. When I truly love something, I dive right in and I do it. And I know it's something that I would enjoy, at least in the moment. Because when someone tells me that, I do this thing, but I can stop if I want to. The problem is never can you or can't you, because I know you always can. When it comes to change, the thing that really determines if the change sticks or not is if you have enough leverage. Do you have enough leverage over yourself to make the changes necessary in your life? I promise you there have been people who have been more addicted than you who have overcome their addictions. And it's because they got leverage over themselves. They needed that change and they did it. It's not impossible. What worries me more when someone says, "Oh, I can if I want to," is the fact that they don't want to. Because they just said it themselves. If they wanted to, they would stop. And yeah, different addictions may have different side effects, different consequences. But the underlying thing is that when you have an addiction and you consistently engage in that addiction, it's because you want the feeling that you get from doing whatever it is that your vice is. And it also means that whatever's going on in your life that makes you not feel that way is not getting dealt with. I personally believe that any and all addictions are just a form of escapism, of trying to get away. And I've spent so many tiresome years of my life trying to run, and I'm done running. I want to be here. I want to be real. I want to talk about this because I feel better talking about it. And I just hope that by being honest, at least one person out there feels brave enough to talk about it as well. To bring it up with a close friend or family member, or maybe even just a stranger. Asking for help can be hard. For some people more than others. But it doesn't matter how hard or easy it is. What matters is that it's worth it. I just hope that by having this conversation, it does get a little bit easier. The worth will stay the same. Maybe improve a little. But I just hope it becomes as easy as it can be. Just like a normal conversation, one that actually has an impact. Because I truly just want what's best for you. I want what's best for all of us. I'm what I like to call selfishly selfless. Or maybe it's selflessly selfish. Whichever one it is, the point is I want what's best for myself so that I have the most to give to you. In that same way, I want you to be at your best so that you have more to give to others. Whatever that takes, I want to help you get there. Maybe that just starts one day at a time, being a little bit real, a little bit vulnerable, taking it from there. I used to have this joke with my friends that as soon as midnight hit was when the deep conversations came out, was when all the jokes and all the inhibition goes out the window and the real thoughts and the real feelings came out. And I looked at the time, and of course we're well past midnight. So I'm not surprised that this episode took this turn. And to anyone that I know out there that's watching this episode, just know that I thank you for being here. I thank you for being there for me, however that may look, whether it's a silent prayer or a check-in every once in a while. I may not always be doing 100%, but no matter how I'm doing and how involved I am, how much I'm participating, how much I'm talking, how much I'm chatting, just know that I really do appreciate you. And things may be tough now, but I've done tough things before. I've faced things before. So know that this isn't forever. But also know that a little help can really go a long way. So thank you. Thank you for giving me this space. Thank you for any and all of your love and support. And this goes out to everyone out there. I truly do love you all. I feel the strength to push on and work harder because I know that there is a better future ahead. So until then, just remember to always fill up with the love. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.